Hello, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're tuned in from. Thank you for sparing time for us today again. Now, today is a good day because Benjamin is going to take us through a very sensitive discussion with me, all right? Remember, to every blossoming relationship, there is an element of honesty. And a tragedy is when you expect somebody to be loyal to you, yet they're not honest to you. But now, some people have actually been cut by their level of honesty. How far should you go with your honesty? That is another question. So today on the show, Benjamin is going to tell you how far you need to go by revealing your dirty past to your partner. How far should you go? Hey, Benjamin.
Hello. Can you start by saying that dirty past comes from lacking wisdom? You should have been living a clean life to begin with. Can you stop normalizing pathology? Not everybody has a dirty past. God told you to keep the marital bed pure, to preserve yourself, to walk in purity, to date in wisdom, preserve sex for marriage. But we go indulging and burning our fingers and doing dirty, ugly, cruel things, thinking we're exploring. And then we have a baggage of can of worms. You don't need an ugly past. You don't need an ugly past. My brother. So, first of all, start by admitting that it is an accumulation of your stupid decisions that we call ugly past.
Okay.
It's a sanitized name for misbehavior. Yeah, Can you stop sitting down with abnormalities and calling them normal? You don't need a dirty past. Our Lord was human and he did not have a dirty past. He came here to walk the human journey until he was 33 to show us that it's doable. In fact, he did the period that we do most crazy things. And he walked in period. We are supposed to walk like him. We have gone so far away from God's way. That's what we are calling normal is sickness. And I told you, when you have sex before marriage, you will regret it, whether you enjoyed it or you endured it. The memory will haunt you. It will hold you back and interfere. And you have repented, yes, you have healed, but neurons, you'll have to deal with them for very long. That indulgence, you have to deal with it. My brother, be careful. So what we are dealing with today is an unfortunate result of our carelessness as a culture. And to throw God's word and take it for granted. People are calling themselves Christians. I'm praying for God to give them people as husbands. Somebody was asking me, I was dating this married man, but he was not providing enough. I prayed for God to send another one. And within a week, now God, with fornication, and taking people's husbands. So, what we are dealing with today, I hope those who are on the beginnings of their journeys and those who have kept their purity and virginity, keep it clean. Most of the ugly things involve sexuality. Today, what we are focusing on. But other people also involves alcut and dishonest and stealing money and breaking people up through falsehoods and rumor mongering and abortions. And most of the ugly things we are talking about today are unnecessary. If you have kept your purity, you are safe. Keep it there. We have gone so far in the opposite direction that those who have walked in purity are being ridiculed. As if they are not exposed, as if they are not, they don't understand, they don't have a life. You know, you follow God's word and you'll be safe. Let them call you holier than, let them call you names. Don't worry, you will be safe. So today we are discussing where to balance then when you have reformed. Because God is a God of second chances and the 22nd chances. Some of us don't need second chance, they need 22nd. We use second because it's more presentable. But in reality, second to power 8. So, okay. So you're fallen and God wants, and you decide to reform and you come back to your life. And when you have now changed the direction of your life and cleaned up and you are living a different life, now you meet a person and you want to start a life. The following are the rules. Some of the people you meet have no ugly past. Okay? Yeah. And you think to equal their cleanness, you should also come out clean. Bravo. There's an intimidation when you have messed up to meet a person who has never messed up.
Yeah.
You may feel intimidated, you may feel insecure, you may feel like you can't equal them, and in order to match the level of honesty, you end up you bear your life, you open up. This is the wisdom, understand. We are here, we are balancing between honesty, telling the truth, and the wisdom in not resurrecting dead things. That's the difference. So, the honesty is to tell what is both true and relevant. That's what you tell.
Okay.
What do you tell?
True and relevant.
Okay. More so the second part.
Relevant.
Bramwell, we don't want to know some of the stupid things you do. They don't help anybody.
Yeah.
Even you are ashamed of them. Why are you telling them to anyone? Sometimes you need to ask yourself, but the ones you are saying is edifying. Surely. Some of things, they're not edifying, they're embarrassing. God is happy to sort some things between you and him. God repent between you and him. And if God is not broadcasting you, why are you broadcasting yourself? He has forgotten them and cast them where the east is far from the west. The difference between a secret and a dead past. I mean, differentiate. I've differentiated the past, the first category, to say, you tell me what is true and relevant. For example, one girl in those, what they call enjoying your youth. And can you tell these young people there's a difference between enjoying your youth and destroying your future?
Yeah.
So as she was enjoying her youth, got pregnant. Unfortunately, the pregnancy was ectopic. It was implanted at the wrong place. And in order to fix the problem, they had to cut one of the fallopian tubes. So one of our systems was permanently affected. Although it may not affect the productivity too much because there are two of them, and many times you don't even need the two of them, it's one egg and all that. The productivity, fertility did not go down. The doctor said, you are still okay. But what necessitated the surgery is something she should not have been doing. Are we together?
Yeah.
So, but because the surgery had a permanent interference on our systems, now that is irrelevant. When you start dating a person, you tell them you once went through a surgery. That you had gotten expectant and they had to remove the pregnancy. It had an issue, it had complications, and it also interferes slightly. But you can still visit a doctor and confirm that your fertility is okay. That is relevant. Are we together? Vis-a-vis another person who did what they call flashing pregnancy, the iniquity level has reached that we trivialize lives. Within killing a fetus, an innocent baby, simply flashing, cleaning up. People travel, do it, and they come back. The level of iniquity. Have you heard figures in Kenya that we are being half 1 million abortions a year?
Imagine.
Man. So, in 10 years, we have cleared 5 million people. That is how a country attracts judgment. That's why as a people, as a culture, and those who are spiritually enlightened must continue to depend on behalf of the country. When you see these bloodsheds during elections, what do you see? Could be blood of innocent babies crying for justice. And it falls on the country. People are trivializing such gruesome things as the cries of babies in God's ears. When Saul was asked whether he has killed all the enemies God told him to kill, he said, yes, I did. But then someone asked him, then what is that bleating of sheep and goats I hear? What is that sound I hear? Sometimes the things we do are crying against us. Okay, that is another discussion to say, as a person, live a clean life. But know where you live, the atmosphere in the country you exist can be polluted by the actions of your colleagues in that country.
Yeah.
To an extent that there's national disturbances like drought, like famine, like floods, like election violence. Some of these things are atmospheric and they're caused by a cultural trend. And those of us who are involved in public discourse and discussions and shaping of values cannot keep quiet on such serious things. Abortion is not the guilt of women only. Men, if you push a woman to abort your child, you are as guilty for it as like she is. And we are saying there's some ladies who during those days of ignorance did abortions. During those days, they slept with the wrong people. People, you know, had sex, premarital sex, and behaved wildly. Somebody was telling me in campus, some girls would drink and fall, and men are sleeping with them anyhow. they're staggering, they lost control. And during somewhere that year, 4th year, they wake up as if from sleep. They start changing their lives. But the last 2 years, they've been living very carelessly, drinking. And Brahma will tell these girls that clubs have nothing for young people. These drinking clubs. A friend of mine showed me how these guys behave, taking videos, how they did some videos I was seeing. And they're dancing and rubbing each other's bodies, and throughout the night, girls are bending, entertaining men in those dance styles and for so many hours. Yeah. But when they go to church, they're bored within 1 hour. They're already sleeping within 1 hour. When you ask them to clap, they invert their hands. But there, they are doing overtime. Dressed scantily in a very cold atmosphere. And dancing tirelessly. My friend, one thing I like about God is that he is easy to live with. When I compared, I did the comparison. It's good to do your research. When I check what elsewhere guys are doing over there, I'm at peace. I'm okay. He said my yoke is easy, and he was right. The yoke out there, Brahma, is too heavy. The yoke means what you have to pull through life. Everybody has to pull something. All right. So we are saying, if you did bad things and they affected your systems permanently, that's relevant. If you did bad things that did not affect your systems and you have sorted them out in repentance and prayer, they are not relevant today. That's the difference with relevance. Are we together? Okay. Now, let's go to between now. We're talking about honesty and the wisdom not to resurrect dead things. You know it's dead when you have sorted it out. It does not affect your life today, and it's not public. It's gone. Are we together? When you sort it out with God, forget it. That's dead history. All right? What is relevant is what is affecting you today. What you know will affect your life moving forward. Are we together? There may be a baby. You can't hide a child. And this self-destructive habit of living with a person. If you live with a person, it's a public thing. People can see it. And they can even say you're married. You hide that, and I come to know you used to be married to so-and-so, used to stay with so-and-so. That's a very high levels of dishonesty. Tell people who are in our earshots never to live with anybody you're not married to. Don't say we are living and then we formalize later. It's a mistake. It will cost you and it's never benefited anyone. If that person is worth living with, they are worth marrying officially. Are we together? The other level we are discussing here is, what about then the person has a very pure life? You came from another place. There's a difference in being virgin and being principled. Some people are virgin and they're not principled. They stayed virgin because they lacked opportunity. Other people have not slept with anyone because nobody wants them. My brother. Not all virgins are principled. Some have been closed in. They don't get the opportunity. Some people have never stolen and they're still thieves. They just never lacked the opportunity. Okay. So, and the other people who lost the virginity through days of ignorance, when God says he overlooked during days of ignorance, but they are still principled. So what you want to emphasize to the person you are dating is more so your values, not your present bodily condition. Okay? Virginities are present bodily condition. Which we congratulate you if you have kept the gate tight. Congrats, you have avoided a lot of things and you have lived a simple life, a pure life. But many people are waiting for you to remove the seal so that they can go back and explore. They don't buy this idea. It's fear that kept them. It's being sheltered. It's being closed. It's not principles. And if it's not principles, it's only a matter of time. They'll drop it. So, what you want to emphasize with your partner, brother, is that your values as a person, you believe in purity and you believe in celibacy, you believe in being faithful, and you believe in self-control. Emphasize that and then add on top of it whether you're virgin or not. Always mention it. That I have not always been careful. There's a time I lost pregnancy. I lost my virginity. Even when you're a guy, virginity applies in both. It's purity, undefiled. That's what it means. And only that for women is easier to test. When we were in Form 2, we went for a seminar and a lady promised that the following holiday should tell girls how to know when a guy's mandazi has been beaten. The seminar never came. Don't promise people things. Just tell them. Don't be promising. Then left our curiosity and wondering. So she was telling this way you can know when a guy has had sex in the past. Usually, I think she was just exaggerating. How would you tell? Ladies have that hymen, that barrier. Men don't have that. But maybe she was talking about habits, cues, how you can tell whether he has been indulging. Some men can have sex without a woman being around.
Yeah.
can involve themselves in sexual activity on their own, internet. Not the sex in terms of intercourse, but they can have that sexual activity without a man around. So, of course, women can also, and we have a lot of perversion today. People, a lot of manufacturing things, and the internet and perversions. But we are talking about, even if, Bramwell, you had a moment, there's a difference between a year that you were crazy. When girls finish university, one of them was asking me today, I'm 23, I'm an for the year. Do you think I should start now being open to approaches by men? 23 for the year. And I told her 23 is the most disastrous age to date. Yeah. When you open yourself for romance now, you're mentally not. In fact, 23 is the most confused. That's the period of the darkest hour that comes before dawn. The 23 and 24 is the rapid period of mistakes where people miss. I told you might never experience true love. If you open yourself to it now, you make mistakes that will cost you the rest of your life. That's what girls are doing. Yeah. Because you are almost, and you feel like you're ready. So that if you take these 2 more years to concentrating on your personality development, concentrating on career, concentrating on friendship and spirituality, concentrating on refining your values, setting a lifestyle, building your career, looking for internships and saying no to all proposals until you can be mentally clear. Many of them I tell them, even without asking me, you're not mentally clear. You know it. I usually ask them, is what I'm saying sounding true? If it doesn't sound true, maybe you're an exception. Go on with your life, go dating. You see, you're not my daughter, I will not lose anything. No, please. Don't take this too personal. What will I lose? Nothing. Thank you. So don't. Those who keep asking, how come? Is it that you like this? And I say, they are not my daughters. I'm speaking the truth I've learned. Yeah. I stand to lose nothing. I'm doing my mission to help you for your own sake. Always ask yourself what the person stands to lose. Many of them have never met them. But many of them confirm, actually, you are right. They know. They just don't want to admit it. Others did not have the name for the kind of intensity and fluctuating feelings they feel. Yeah. 23 years is very fluctuating. Under 25 generally, very fluctuating. Very confusing. One of them, he texted me this morning. I'm meeting my boyfriend for the first time and he's saying that we should meet in his house. Is that correct? You are meeting the first time and you're already calling him a boyfriend. You need to be told the age of who is talking. And whether we should meet in his house. The first time. And you're already calling him a boyfriend. And you're asking, how old are you? 20. You get it? I get it. So if you're coming from that period of this underage and you did a lot of madness because maybe there was no clarity, that's not you. So here's to understand, you are not what you did. It may have been a passage. All the way from 20 all the way to 25, many of them do a lot of ugly things that they regret. I'll tell you next time, you need to do a show, I'll tell you that. Many girls who did these abortions are not proud of it. There's a group that was living that life, careless and not conscious. But it's a very small percentage. The bigger percentage regretted, they were condemned, they cried. Many today dating married men or other men who just are sleeping, they go to cry in the bathroom, they are not happy. Many of these girls were never meant to live this life. Yeah. It's a mistake they made, and they started a downfall, a slide to the wrong direction, and they're still struggling in that direction. They feel fixed, and many of them, there's already a child, or there's already, they're in a direction they know I'm lost, but they think they don't know what to do. And to go back to who they are looks like a lot of work and pressure, society, and time, and many girls are not happy. They are not happy. Whenever you talk to them, I want you to be bold. Because you're confirming a voice they already have, that I should stop what I'm doing. Don't be tentative. Don't be these speakers who are too careful and cautious. I was just proposing, I don't have to dictate my life. In fact, this was just my opinion. In case it does not apply to you, don't take it badly. But in fact, what I was thinking is, can you just say what you wanted to say? When you speak with conviction, you confirm the voices they already had. Right. So we're saying the other thing is to know that the reason I don't want you to tell too much of your past life is that was not you. When you tell it, sometimes the person changes how they view you, to view you in form of what you are doing. If you are living a club life, one girl used to be a clubbing girl. I've encountered the mistake we are discussing today personally. There are girls I had valued until they told me those things, and my perception of them changed. And it was not voluntary.
It happens.
You throw some things in there, and they change. They change perception. So this girl met this guy in church. She got saved and got in church. Then they got hooked up to this guy who had been in church from the time he was born. Some people are born in church and they're still in church.
Yes.
Lucky them. Some of us had to be hunted in the bushes and brought to church. We used to appear in church on Christmas when there are biscuits. Takes biscuits and disappear. Those biscuits in Christmas, please sponsor them when you can, okay? Yeah. They bring some guys to church, okay? With the children, you can't use logic. They don't reason too much. So you can only use what brings them food. By the way, brother, promote that biscuit cut, okay? On Christmas, some of us, that's what. Okay. Some people went for reciting verses because they came from a Christian home. Some of us could not recite verses. We could only sing dirty songs. So in church, you avoid talking. You don't talk bad things. But you're waiting for the biscuits. Don't say curse words. You know, your language becomes so coarse, rough, so wildly that if you try to say something, they laugh. And you don't know what you said. Because that is your normal language. But here, it is not calmly. So, promote the culture of biscuits. So, she met this guy who had been in church, and then she said her club life. She explained it. When they were already in love and they were planning to get married, she thinks she's coming clean to feel relief. So that it stops nagging her that she's hiding things. Lack of wisdom. You end up doing the opposite. What she needed was therapy. She needed to have looked for therapists to process and experience catharsis and release. Okay? Your partner is not your therapist. Okay? She helps you through life. You process difficult things with your partner. But when it comes to your dirty past, you need a therapy to finish with it and be done with it. So she explained, and from that time the guy could not trust her because she had slept with many men. She could not remember them. How special is that person anymore? After any man could sleep with her. If it were you. I was dating a girl who had scored all the points. Secretly, she was passing at very high flying colors in my checklist. Tick, 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 tick. I was developing hopes. Until she was saying she said she was been living the man around for many years. And saying her friends got children, they're still there for her. It's only that she not get pregnant. I don't know what it did to me, man, but this is not being judgmental, this is being human.
Yeah.
And then to imagine you are special and you have kept yourself for special. You know, if you did not, shut up. Yeah, I'm together. I was so disappointed and angry. Because I tried to ignore that fact. You know, sometimes you try to blot it out. To imagine you did not hear it. When you are searching, you are tired and you can't wait to settle. So when you meet a person who is almost. Searching is tiresome. You know, they don't tell you the truth. Searching. And you know, you can't tell people you're searching for a wife.
Yes.
Brother, when you are all day looking for a car or a shoe or a house, you can get sympathizers at the end of the day that are looking for houses and they're very hard to get it. And they even give you further suggestions. Check that site, check this one, call this number, there's a caretaker. When you're looking for a wife, who do you tell at the end of the day? You're so tired from looking for? No, brother. Can we discuss some of this? Let's stop pretending that they don't exist. You can get tired and you have no sympathizer. You know, when you've developed a hope with a girl, she has disappointed you, you feel let down and you have nobody to tell.
Yeah.
Nobody is there to say, oh, my brother, don't worry. Hey, can you also check that one? You have made it look like searching should be easy or quiet or automatic. Remember the scale of importance. When you search for a shoe, you invest the amount of effort that the shoe will bring in your life.
Yeah.
Commensurate with the importance of the shoe. When you search for a shirt, the effort Go to the importance. When you look for a house, it is more now because it will dictate your life, your neighborhood. Yeah. When you go look for a car, more now. When you look for a partner, hire more effort, more work, more carefulness. So the reason I don't want you to disclose too much is when you remember that it was not you. That period you lived with the person was just peer pressure because guys were doing it. It looked normal, like you had a future. You're carried by feelings and emotions. But don't let the man who had seen you as a special person show them how cheap you behaved in the past. Don't do that. He may struggle with that piece of information for the same reason they tell men to think twice before they go for delivery. You need to think whether you can handle the activity in the delivery room. Okay? There are several ways of supporting your wife during delivery.
Yeah.
One, you can be outside the corridor, waiting for the door to open and the card to be called. And it used to be broken. Or you can be inside the labor ward, but you're on her head side. All right? The doctors are operating on this side. If you're courageous enough, you can be where the doctors are, but that is upon your own risk. Together. You may get traumatized, and now you need to be hospitalized. After she's healed, now you take the. Now, I don't want that on you. So think twice. There are hospitals actually, totally, they have a law. Men don't come in. Other places, they believe in emotional support. But at your own risk. So, I've already made up my mind. I always support. Men, go, but check how close you want to come to. Don't show your man, your woman, that time you lived, give them information that will traumatize and disorient. All right? The final comments about this topic is that there are people who dig, who ask directly. Who are you with? Who else? Who else? A person who is probing directly is usually not an honest person. They're looking for information to pin you down. Do you know soul ties can be created through secrets? Yeah. I know you've had soul ties from sex, but there's another soul tie that is created through secrets. When you tell a person a lot of the information, you feel like you are open to them. You feel like you're vulnerable to them. When you work with ladies are very emotionally attuned and intense more than men, and they're more. So when women tell you their secrets, they usually feel like now you're close. You might have seen that. Whether it's colleague, whether you are a mentor or something, when they tell you their life, the things they've never told anyone, and you assist them with it, they feel more comfortable around you now. That connection can be so deep that when you don't see this person, you feel unstable, you feel you miss them. You can create soul tie through secrets. This person who asks to dig your secrets, they're establishing a shortcut connection to feel like you already know each other. Or they're looking for information that they can hold up in your face and blackmail you when you hold them accountable towards their own behavior. For example, you tell them a time you used to sleep carelessly with people, and them, they start cheating in future, and you try to ask them, they say, you also used to do that. Be careful with the person who probes. A healthy person will want to know your past. They will not be ignorant. They want to know the life. Maybe you have children over there, or the healthy people will also be prudent. But a wise person is also healthy, will not interrogate you as if they're looking for dark pasts or things that you're not comfortable talking about. When you date a girl, when you date this guy, you want also to see how free they are, how open they are. You be open to them, see how open they are being to you, and you can tell whether you want that kind of a person. If you sense that your intuition is telling you they're hiding a lot, they're not honest, now you have a choice to decide whether you want to continue with them. When it comes to disclosing, when you see a person who seems curious for details, be careful. Such people are looking for a way to pin you down, to have information to arrest you with, and avoid accountability in future. Yes.
All right. I like that, Benjamin. Now, you need to disclose honestly and what only is relevant.
Yes.
Right? Now, should we wait for the relevant opportunity to present itself? Because, again here, an opportunity will always come. And I'll have to say what I went through. Maybe it is an abortion, for example. And now a time where we need to have a child has come. And because of the abortion the lady did, she cannot conceive. Now she wants to give the information of what transpired. Is it too little, too late? How far should they wait?
Not all abortions affect your reproductivity. Most of them don't. But it can go wrong also.
Yeah.
But when it goes wrong, usually you can also tell. You can tell when it has gone wrong, and you can always take scans. And abortion can change how a person views you. It's one of the dark secrets that can interfere with the connection. You want to be very careful. If you have done an abortion in the past, go take scans and consult a doctor, find out whether you are healthy. If you are healthy, bury it in the past. They can tell whether your systems were fractured. You understand?
Yeah.
They can scan and tell. Establish the truth so that you don't have to bring up ugly past.
Right.
Once you repent before God and remind people that abortion opens portals in your spiritual realm. Many people are miscarrying today because their mothers aborted. This is a spiritual world. There's some things you do and they give legal right. There's a time David took another man's wife, and from there on, his life was chaotic. A son slept with a daughter. Absalom slept with his own women. Solomon, 1,000 women. It became so chaotic from the time he sinned at once. Some things you do, they bring chaos to your generation. There are many people today who can't carry, and we are not saying all, but we are saying this one way in which you find a lot of failure in the productive system when one person was careless. I told you what we have normalized, some of the things we have normalized, like sponsor, like abortion, like they have brought so many curses, and we are sinking deep in the mire. Somebody must speak up. So we are saying don't always confess abortion unless they fractured your system.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. The reason as to why men will always want to know the history of the lady they're dealing with, we want to understand the trauma they have gone through. It is important so that we know how to deal with them. All right? We don't trigger those traumas. How do you comment about that?
Yes, even you as a man, you need to tell her the things you've been through so that you don't overreact to a small thing because it is resembling another thing that hurt you before she came.
Yeah.
So don't probe for traumas. Speak. Brahma, you don't do directed conversations because you don't know the trajectory of her life. You don't know whether she's coming from the south or the east. Can you tell?
No.
Simply pay attention as you talk stories. That's all. People's emotional experiences come up in conversations. We can't say, today we are discussing past traumas. Our date today, the topic is past traumas. You can't dictate conversations. As you talk, things come up. As you chant, things come up. Pay attention to what seems emotionally important. You just need to be open, conversational, and attentive. Open, conversational, and attentive. You get to know the terrain of her life, the terrain of his life. What she avoids, what makes her emotional, what makes her pause, fight off some tears, what makes her beam, what makes her pause and get deep and reflective. And shake her off and say sorry, then come back. You note those things because our lives are like a river. You don't know who is coming from the hills, who is coming from the plains. Simply pay attention. Yes.
And through those conversations, maybe you are almost there. You are almost closing the deal. And the opportunity comes in. The guy again freaks out because of the weight of the matter.
Thank you for freaking out before we got married. What if he freaked out after we got married? There's a blessing in every breakup.
Yes.
A person left before it was too late. It is disappointing, but the disappointment is very small. Even if they scuttled their wedding, even if they absconded on the material day, even the priest allows you to think twice. The vicar pauses. Do you still want to go ahead? Two of us. This is the last time probably to think twice.
Yeah.
And we are giving you a moment. But because by then you're usually imagining the steamy evening. But people have used that moment to really think twice. And they can see your body language. Whether you're sure. Lift the veil. Is it still her? All right. Do you still want to go on? Yes. Do you have signs? Yes, here we are. The vicar is careful to make sure he does not take over the agenda. It is your agenda. It is your agenda. And they make sure they're only facilitating what you request. Okay. to carry the, not that, no, you know, it is the reverend who did it for us. So actually, I would have thought twice, no? So, if somebody freaks out because of the intensity of your experiences, they are not the one. The one who is the one who will be happy that you have journeyed. Remember, Brahma, even when you have healed, you can still get emotional when you are narrating.
Yeah.
Just because you cry when you tell me about that girl or that experience does not mean you have not. Sometimes I've gone through your own therapy. It's just that the experience still makes you emotional. It's not intensely painful. Just when you remember it, you get emotional. So if somebody doesn't want to see your emotions, they should not be in your life then. Yes.
All right, guys, there you have it. Wisdom is knowing what not to say and what to say, when to say it. Thank you for watching the Benjamin Zulu Show. Till next time.